Welcome to the review of the Sony NEX-EA50. Now, the one thing about this camera is shoulder mount. It's semi-shoulder mount, but it's a good attempt. Sony have actually done a really good job in this wee camera. The only thing that obviously it doesn't have, once again, is neutral density, but we can forgive it because at the end of the day, it actually pulls in a very good picture. But then, you'll see that for yourself. So we've come to the Clyde side to have a wee look at this new Sony NEX-EA50. Now once again, this is a large sensor camera and possibly one used for, in my case, doing interviews, but in various other occasions like maybe weddings or other type of event work. Just in case you thought it was a bit of a numpty in the previous shot, what you have to do. The problem is when you put the rails on this camera here, if I show you, when they're too far back, as you take it off, this wee bit gets trapped. So you have to actually put the matte box forward a bit, which is why it was sitting proud. So I would say that's about right, and that's the matte box in place. What we've got here is we've got a 20-40-85 Nikon lens onto a MTF adapter. So that allows me to basically have a complete manual control over the iris. Secondly, we have this fader from Genistech, and it's the latest one that they do. This is in place of neutral densities. So we've got this lovely Genistech fader, and we'll see how it performs. The other thing to note is that I'm running at 1080-50p, which is probably the best of all you can get. That's the beauty of Sony. All the latest cameras are coming out, even the wee camera we're filming with, which is an NX30, 1080-50p, and you really can't, everybody's clambering for 1080-50p. Of course, I've been shouting for this for many a year. So what we've actually got with us now, I'm not going to use it because it's boxed, and this is a demo camera anyway, but it's called mirroring memory stick. Now, basically what you've got here is you've either got 16 gigabytes of straight memory or you've got two 8 gigabytes, which basically means it mirrors itself. In other words, you've got a backup. Now that's very useful. The only minus side to this is when I googled this, I couldn't find anybody who's actually selling this, so I couldn't give you a price. But knowing what memory sticks are like in the past, they're pretty expensive compared to what's in the camera at the moment. What's in the camera at the moment basically is the best part of £20 worth of 16 gigabytes SDHC card. That actually makes this camera very affordable, which is nice because there's no doubt about it. Once you start going up to the high-end stuff like the F5, you know, you're really getting into memory that's costing you £400, £500, £600, and that can be quite expensive. So the other thing you can add on to this camera is Sony's own what they call memory unit, which slides on here. But once again, 128 gigabytes. It's okay if you need the extra, but to be quite honest with you, the price of that, I wouldn't even bother. But it does give you the facility once again to have a backup, and that does as well. So, you know, it really depends what you're looking for. If you definitely need the backup, then that's probably the one to go for. The one thing I was expecting with this camera was Moire patterning, and to be quite honest with you, it is absolutely amazing. I mean, I have literally had to hunt to see Moire patterning with this camera. It is so well concealed. The other thing I find strange about this camera is it's supposed to have a variable zoom control here, but it actually seems to just go at the one speed, which I do find a bit annoying. But in order to see this zoom properly, what we're going to do is we're going to move up a wee bit, and it'll get a better shot of the crane, and I'll do a pullback from the Glasgow Clydeside crane. The other luxury of using this particular lens is it does actually have an active steady shot, which basically means when you get people running back and forth off a Sugarly Bridge, it doesn't actually cause you that much problems. Yeah, sometimes. Oh, look at that. There we go. Right, come on, say hello. Say hello. Oops. Say hello. Will we get you what? You're gonna say hello. Will we get you what? You're gonna cross the bridge? No, you don't need to. You can if you're going that way. All right, right. Hold on, wait, and I'll get a low angle shot. Here we go. He's saying hello now. He's saying hello now. See you later. Bye bye. Now she's posing. So what I'm going to demonstrate here is what they call spot focus. If I just touch the screen, as you can see, it focuses on the blue car, and if I touch the screen again, it then focuses back onto the grey car. There's nothing new about electronic pull focus. It's been in other various cameras, but it's the first time I've actually tried it. And for something like this, especially a large sensor camera, where you're maybe going to do interviews and then you want 2 or 3 cutaways, this is actually really good, because the pull focus I've just done is there's a house over there to a plant over here. Now that's a fairly massive pull focus. I could not have done that using that lens manually. If I'd tried it 100 times out of 100, there would be movement and the shot would be useless. But because it can do it electronically, you don't get the bump in the lens, which means you get a perfect pull focus. Now, that in my books is worth having that particular lens on the camera, and certainly with you at all times, because electronic pull focus has actually come of age. One chap emailed me to say, why don't you just use spot focus all the time if it's easier to use? Well, to be honest, focus transition, or as I call pull focus, does allow you to have a transition time, and that makes it a lot smoother as opposed to spot focus, which can be a bit gritty. Here's a quick lesson on how to clean your sensor in the Sony EA50. Now the problem with this particular camera is the sensor's not that far back, so you're looking at just about a centimetre from the front of the flange here, and that's not very much of a depth, I can assure you. So it is going to get mucky if you're going to take the lenses on and off, but 9 times out of 10 this wee guy here will do the trick. It's called a geotus, and it's just a bubble, and it's just air inside it, and you hold it down like that, couple of puffs. As soon as you've done that, basically it's simple. Get the lens back on ASAP, and that's you sorted. You really should check your sensor before you even start shooting, because as I discovered, you don't even see these marks while you're shooting on the day, because basically the LCD is not a high enough resolution to show you them. So be very wary of this. This is a wee bit of low light filming, and once again we've come down to the Clydeside, the opposite side of the BBC. This is where I do a lot of my low light filming, and we'll probably go to Ashton Lane to get some shots with some Canon lenses. Now, I discovered I had a Canon to NEX adapter, so I'm able to use my really fantastic f1.4 Carl Zeiss lenses with this. And the lens that's on just now is the Sony standard lens, and as you can see, it just copes with this light and no more. It's f3.5 18 dBs, but in my opinion, you know, you need more than a wide shot when you're doing, you know, okay, it's okay for a wide shot, but beyond that, as soon as you zoom in, waste of time. The lens I've now got on is a Carl Zeiss Canon Fit f1.4 50mm, and what a difference this makes. Wow, that is stunning. You really can virtually see in the dark with this lens. Absolutely fantastic. The quality of these pictures are just absolutely stunning at 18 dBs. I mean, look at that, it's as clean as a whistle. And to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting this. I thought 18 dBs would be pretty messy and it would be a waste of time. But I mean, the pictures tell a different story. So, what's my thoughts on the EA50? Well, I've got to say it's a lot better than I was expecting, and the pictures are actually very good of it. I'd heard and seen bits and pieces that the camera was quite noisy, but to be quite honest with you, I've had this camera up at 18 dBs, and yes, there is noise, but it's acceptable noise. It actually looks a bit more like grain rather than noise. So would I buy a Sony NEX-EA50? Of course I would. It's a fantastic camera. As a B camera, you can't go wrong, and for the money, it's a fantastic second alternative.